Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my diary entry for the week of September 8th through 14th. Today is Saturday, September 14th. So this week was kind of a weird one. We had very, very hot temperatures throughout the beginning of the week, and in the middle of the week, we got a break. So it's now relatively cool. Definitely cool compared to the temperatures that we have. We're in double digits. Mid 80s, mid to mid 70s. So much happier with the temperatures, at least I am. I had some weird thing happen to me at work, and we'll talk about that towards the end of the video. But I did do a little bit of reading, not too much this week. I've got a tiny Yarnie update, but I had mentioned to you last week that I am traveling, and we will be traveling, or on our travels, by the time you see this video. So I'll talk to you a little bit about my plans for knitting while I'm on vacation, and then we'll do some of what I've been watching and playing at the end. So let's get into it. So I really only have 2 volumes of manhwa and a manga volume to talk to you about as far as what I finished this week. And then we'll just go ahead and start with the manhwa. So I finished volumes 4 and 5 of Villains Are Destined to Die. This is by SUOL. Original concept by Gyeoeul, or original story by Gyeoeul. This one's published by Issei Press, rated teen. So this follows a woman who doesn't have the best life. Her family life is terrible also, and she really enjoys playing this otome game. And one day she gets transported into this otome game as the villain character. So the story follows her trying to play the game, knowing certain outcomes and things, and what she knows about the game, and trying to use it to her benefit. I've been really enjoying the series. I love the art style. I find that the art is gorgeous. Like, just look at these covers. And these are full color volumes, so we get a lot of color throughout the reading of the volumes. These 2 episodes were they were enjoyable, but there were things about, especially volume 5, that it kind of got on my nerves. So something kind of big happens in volume 4. And it's kind of like this gala that they're at, and a whole bunch of things kind of happen, and it kind of leaves you on a cliffhanger as to the kind of conclusion of what is happening in this part of the story, and finishes that part up in the 5th volume. Now, in the 5th volume, the game mechanics kind of change a little bit for her. So, like, I guess with any kind of like mobile game, I guess. I don't play a lot of mobile games, but there are mobile games where you can like pay a little bit of money to get certain things, right? Whether it be like free lives or advantages that help you throughout your gameplay. And I kind of feel like that's definitely how this game works, because especially in volume 5, she talks a lot about the fact that she decided to play hard mode this time, and that hard mode definitely is one of those modes where paying for advantages helps you. And so she's starting to see the repercussions of that now that she's kind of, further into the game than she was when she first started. The game is kind of like telling her, hey, if you want this, pay this amount of money. And so when it's talking about currency and stuff, it's not talking to her about currency as like real life currency, because she's in the game. So she basically needs to find a way to pay for these things in the game and like obtain currency. And so it kind of talks about that a little bit. But I did find that once those game mechanics came into play, that she got really, really whiny. Like, she started to whine a lot about the fact that the game wasn't being nice to her anymore, and that, her funds are limited, and it's very, like, kind of relatable, I guess, if you're somebody who's younger and, you know, has a hard time with game mechanics like that. Like you either can't pay, you don't want to pay, you're not financially able to pay type of thing. But she was very whiny, and I'm just like, I don't want to read that type of attitude. On the other hand, there are definitely some hijinks and stuff going on with the fact that, you know, she's raising affection with these characters, right? And she's kind of put all of her eggs into one basket, though she's still trying to build other baskets. She's kind of like betting on this one basket. And with this new mechanic coming into play, it makes it harder for her to do that. And so it's definitely made the game more interesting. You get all of those like game screens too, so you feel like you're actually playing the game, because the screens will pop up and say, you know, new quest, do you want to accept? Gives you a little bit of information about the quest and the types of rewards that you can obtain if you succeed with the quest. So all of that's all interesting. There's hijinks and hilarity within the seriousness, but she just is a bit whiny for me right now. I didn't find that too much in the previous volumes, but volume 5 definitely she got on my nerves. I'm very interested to see where this is going to go. Unfortunately, I don't have any more of this in my collection. I know there are volumes available. I just never picked them up because I kind of wanted to catch up before I bought any more volumes, and now that I'm caught up, I need to purchase. So, yeah, I can't read any more of this right now. So, I am still very interested in this story. I'm sure she's going to get over her whininess soon, though. I ended up giving both of these 4 stars. I'm still really enjoying it. And like I said, the art style is gorgeous. I enjoy what's going on with the like story, just not her whining. And then I just hauled this one in my manga haul for August, and so I had to read it. Yakuza Fiance Volume 7. This is by Asuka Konishi, published by 7 Seas, rated older teen. So this is about 2 grandchildren of Yakuza bosses, and they decide to have their grandchildren get married. Their grandchildren are still in high school, but the female character ends up going to live with the male character's family, and they're like getting to know each other, and because they're both grandchildren of Yakuza bosses, they do have kind of personality traits of Yakuza, even though they are not Yakuza. And in getting to know each other, it's kind of been a little bit of a bumpy road between them. And so we're kind of finally at the part here in this volume where our 2 characters are on the same page now and still learning about each other. Like, I feel like every volume we learn more and more about the characters, and the characters learn more and more about each other. But we're starting to like progress the kind of relationship aspect of our 2 main characters. And while all of that is going on within the story, they get met with kind of challenges, I would say. There's always something going on behind the scenes, whether it be people who are after them because they are related to Yakuza bosses, or other people who are just after them because of who they are, things that they've done to them in the past, family drama. There's always something else. And in this particular section where we are, there was a situation that brings in a character that we had met in previous volumes, and some things that happen with that character acting on something. Trying to be very vague. I think that situation has concluded as far as this volume goes, but there are ramifications as to things that have happened during this volume that I really need to know how that's going to come out in the next volume. So the next volume doesn't come out until October, so I have to wait. I am caught up with the publication at this point. So October's not too far away. I just have to wait a little bit. But there's going to be an anime adaptation of this also coming out in October. October 7th, I think, is the date that I saw. Really, really looking forward to it. I've already seen a few panels from the kind of trailer, I guess. I haven't actually watched the trailer, but I've seen posts of pictures, and I recognize every single panel that was shown. And it looks like we're going to get pretty far into what I've already read as far as what I've seen of the pictures. So I think we're going to get to volume 5 or 6, which is kind of a lot. But yes, really, really looking forward to it. So this is the female character here, but this is kind of the not so nice guy in this volume. This is not the main love interest. So very good volume. I enjoyed it, but not as much as the other ones because we're kind of more caught up into the situation that's going on with this guy as opposed to spending a lot of time with our couple. And I find that I much prefer the story when our couple is together and learning things about each other. And in this volume, that's not what takes precedence. It's more the situation with this dude that takes precedence. So I still gave it 4 stars. I'm still really, really enjoying the series. I'm looking forward to the next one. So that's everything that I have finished this week. I am still reading Endless Magic, the 4th book in the Starcross series by Rachel Higginson. I have about an hour left on the audiobook, so my plan is to listen to the rest of that while I'm packing for my trip. And then I need to decide what I am going to be listening to on the airplane while I'm on vacation. I have an idea of what I think I want to read, but I'm kind of loading my tablet up with a few options as well in case I don't want to continue reading what I'm listening to. And so, yeah, I like to have a lot of options. Plus, I'm going to have the Shonen Jump app in case I want to read some manga. I'll have Hoopla. I'll probably try to read some of the manga club stuff that I have available to me digitally while I'm on vacation, because we did push back the manga club meeting a week since we were going to be gone. And so, yeah, Endless Magic. Story about a girl who never knew she had magic until she gets moved to this school and realizes that's what's been causing all of the problems that she's had in her life, and is learning to hone it, and also about the magical world and the problems that the magical users have being oppressed by the royal family of the magical world. And it's an interesting story, but it's a very, very teenage romance story going on as well. I'm still not sure that I back the relationship that I see as endgame, but I will say that some of the things that have come up definitely put our male interest into a slightly better light. However, the female main character, her name is Eden, by the way, she's still getting on my nerves. She's still getting on my nerves. She's trying to talk herself into the fact that she loves someone else. But if you have to talk yourself into the fact that you love someone else, you don't actually love that person. And everybody's kind of just been on her in this whole section that I've been listening to this week about the fact that, look, you are really in love with this other guy. You may have feelings for, so-and-so, but compare your feelings. Like, have you ever felt this with this other guy? And she's starting to finally, kind of see, oh yeah, maybe I'm not, in love with this other guy. But yet she's still, several times during my listening this week is No, I absolutely love so and so. Why can't I be with so and so? And things like that. Very, very teenager. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. The whole like world situation thing about the royal family and what the people who are fighting that, they call themselves the resistance in this story, are doing to try to undermine what's going on with the royal family, and all of the things that are leading up to that, the political intrigue, the players that have come out. We just had a guy that is pretty creepy get reintroduced back into the story, and not quite sure how to read that. All of that is really interesting. I would say for me, the worst part of this story is this whole like relationship. Because for me, like I've said many times, there's only one way this is going to end. The two characters that we met at the beginning are going to get together in the end. They're going to be together in the end, because otherwise, why would the series be called Star-Crossed, right? Why? And so, usually in stories where I can tell where things are going to end up, I kind of lose interest because if I already know what the end is going to be, like, you need to really have something there to keep me reading. And for me in this story, it's that. What's going on with the resistance and their fight against the royal family and things like that. So I enjoyed all of that. It's this whole teenage relationship, I'm in denial about who I like type of thing that bugs me. Now, I know I'm not the targeted demographic for this type of story, but I feel like even if I was the age that this story was being marketed to, or when I was that age and I had read this story, I probably would still have rolled my eyes at Eden a lot. So, yeah, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. And like I said, I'm enjoying a lot of the other things that are happening around the relationship. But the relationship aspect of it is kind of getting on my nerves. And so, yeah, I've got less than an hour. It's like 56 minutes or so left on the audiobook. And I'm sure I'm going to be able to crank that out while I'm packing. And so I should have that done soon. But you'll probably not hear me talk about it until you see my vacation vlog. So I do plan on vacation vlogging, like I normally do whenever I go on any kind of a trip. And so I'll take you along, let you know what I'm reading, what I'm thinking about what I'm reading, let you see what I'm doing, and all of that other stuff. So be looking forward to the vacation vlog when I come back. But yeah, that's everything that I'm reading so far. And so let's start off with the Yarnie update. So I did finally finish my daughter's first sock from her Anime Yarn Club sock set. So this is her first sock from the Delicious in Dungeon Anime Yarn Club sock set from Hawari Bazaar. This is Scorpion Pie and Walking Mushroom. And so it's just a very, very vanilla sock. 2x2 rib, 45 stitches down the leg, slip stitch heel flap, square heel turn, and then 60 rows on the foot, and my lightning toe at the end. And so, yeah, I finally kicked my butt and did this. And I even started the second one. Now, I didn't do too much. I have this much. You will see that I have changed my 9-inch circular needles to wooden ones. I know that changing needles between projects, especially socks, can change your gauge. But this is really my only option if I want to travel with this project. So I looked at the amount of time that I'd have to finish these socks by the time our next manga club meeting happens, and there's no way I would get it done unless I took this on vacation with me. So that's what I'm doing. I already talked it over with my daughter. She says it's okay if the sock's a little bigger. Because I don't think it would be any smaller. I think if anything, with these needles, it'll probably be a little bit bigger because these needles are a little bit more blunt than the other ones. And so, yeah. I will be traveling with this and see how much I get done by time we get back from our trip. I will have a little bit of time before the next meeting, like a little, to finish it up. But if I didn't take this project with me and actually make myself work on it, it won't be done. So that's my motivation for this. And so I'm going to really, really try to get as much as I can done while I'm on vacation. I thought about not taking a project at all, just because usually when I take knitting on vacation, it just sits in the bag. I don't even like work on it on the airplane because I'm so anxious when I fly that I basically make myself pass out for as long as I can. And so, yeah, we'll see. We will see how I do on this. So this is where I am. I am 6 rows into the ribbing. So we'll see this progress while I'm on vacation. But yes, I will be taking this. Now, my other thought while I was thinking about vacation knitting is that I would just go to a craft store or whatever while I was where I am going to be and just purchase a project's worth of supplies. And then, you know, I would bring that back and it would be like a reminder of the trip, right? But the place that I'm going to does not have a local yarn store. There is a craft store, a general craft store, but not a local yarn shop where you can go and buy hand-dyed items and things. It's very much like a Michael's. And so I thought, you know, there is a project that I really like to do. And I thought, oh, if I can find the yarn for it there, because I know that when I had looked, they did sell like 100% wool yarns that I could just like buy enough for the project that I'm thinking of and maybe start it while I was there. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that now that I have this project that I'm going to take. But it's an idea. It's an idea. And even if I don't like work on it while I'm on vacation because I have this sock and that's my priority, I'll still be like putting money into the economy there, right? And I will have a project's worth of yarn and supplies to remember this trip by. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty quick one. I will say that our schedule is pretty tight, so I don't know like how much I'm going to have as far as downtime goes. It's going to be one of those vacations where it's like go, 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 and not so much of a relaxing type of vacation. But I think if you're traveling somewhere, that's usually the case. At least it is for me. Like if it's one of those vacations where I'm just like home, like I was for the Olympics, that's more of a like relax vacation. This one's going to be go, 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 go. And so I am looking forward to it. I'm just really anxious about the flight. I'm always really anxious about the flight now. I mentioned it before, but I used to really enjoy flying. I used to really, really enjoy it. But once my grandfather died, he was kind of my travel buddy. And, you know, every trip I took was with him. And for whatever reason, after he passed, I have had anxiety about flying. And I don't know. No, it makes me really, really anxious. And I'm not looking forward to it, but, you know, we'll just see how it goes. And so, yeah, those are my plans for what I'm going to be reading, what I'm going to be crafting on, or hopefully crafting on while I am on vacation. And then let's go into what I've been watching and playing. And so, we're still watching the Olympics. We finished up Taekwondo. I will have to say that I enjoy watching judo more than I do Taekwondo. I enjoyed the commentators for the Taekwondo, but the sport itself I don't find as interesting as judo. And so while I was very intrigued about learning about all the different like hits and seeing the tournaments and things, it just wasn't as fascinating to me as the judo was. So that was interesting. So once we finished that, we watched more of the shooting. So we watched men's and women's air pistol. We watched men and women's air rifle. And then we started men's trap shooting last night, which I thought the trap shooting was going to be more like what they do during the Winter Olympics, where they lie down on the ground and they've got all of the little things that when you hit it, it closes. I thought that's what it meant, but it's very much like skeet shooting, I think. We haven't watched the skeet shooting yet, but it seems similar, except for the targets coming off a box in the ground instead of being like frisbeed through the sky, I guess. But I don't know a lot about skeet shooting at all, and I just kind of think about it like little frisbees that you shoot at, but I could be very wrong. Like stone or chalk frisbees or whatever material they use, but that's kind of what I have in mind for skeet shooting. But anyway, trap shooting was interesting. The shooting is very, very fast. It's a very fast thing to watch and very interesting. I will say that I'm very intrigued that they let the amount of noise happen during the shooting tournaments that happen. We were watching the women's air rifle, and there was a point towards the end where the crowd just got so noisy, clapping and, you know, like cheering for the contestants that were left. And while that's good intention, I feel like it can be very distracting, and I don't know. I'm sure that the contestants are like trained to deal with that type of thing, but you could see that, like, I think it affected at least one of the contestants because they shot off mark kind of badly. And so, yeah, I found that interesting. But very, very entertaining watching the shooting. It's not one of those sports that we've watched before. And so learning a lot again. And I think it's going to be one of those ones that we will try to watch every Olympics. So, yeah. And then playing, we're still doing our Animal Crossing. Just really, really enjoying the Animal Crossing. Trying to clean up all of the flowers that have spawned everywhere. And trying to raise our affection with our new characters that have joined our 2 islands. So I'm not going to be taking the video game consoles with us on vacation. There's just not going to be any time. There's not going to be any time to play. So we're just going to leave those at home and then pick up where we left off after we get back. But I've just been really enjoying that. And that's pretty much all we've been up to. I did say that this week was a little bit of a weird week. I had an impromptu job interview this week. Within the company that I work for, they are opening a new department that specifically has to do with what I specialize in. And so they were looking for people to fill that department. And I did not know that they were looking to interview me when I interviewed. I thought this was just going to be a discussion about how that department was going to work, the things that they'd like to see. That's kind of how it was posed to me. But then once I started actually talking to the guy that's heading up this project, it really was a job interview. And I haven't interviewed for a job in over 20 years. So I wasn't prepared. Some of the things that he asked really flustered me, but I don't know. I was kind of talking to my coworker about it, and I told her, like, I don't know if it would have been to my detriment if I had known beforehand and given some time to prepare, knowing that it was an interview, or if this was the best, like, outcome for me, just going in without any preparation, not stressing about it, and just being as real as I could be. Because I definitely feel like if I had known about it and had time to prep, I probably would have had more mechanical answers, you know what I mean? But this time it kind of just felt like a conversation between colleagues, even though he was asking me pointed questions about how I do my job, how I approach things for what I do, the resources that I use, and things like that. And so, yeah. Apparently this department is opening on October 1st. At least that's the prospective date that they'd like to move forward with this new position. And I will find out when I get back to work whether I got the job or not. Something also happened where they're changing my pay scale from salaried to hourly, which I have not been an hourly employee for over 20 years either. So there are a bunch of different things that had happened this week that are just really strange. I'm not quite sure where my professional life is going at this point. And it's kind of weird the way it all kind of dropped this week, the week before I go on vacation. And then they're like, oh yeah, don't think about us, have a good time on your vacation. I'm just like, really? So, yeah, I have no idea what I'll be walking in on when I get back. I know I'll still have a job, but whether or not that job is new or the same thing that I've been doing this whole time, I'll find out when I get back to work. I mean, I don't know that I have feelings either way. I think I'm a good candidate for the new job. And it would definitely give me benefits, like keeping me as a salaried employee. But at the same time, I'm very comfortable in the job that I do. And me being hourly would mean that I would be able to be paid overtime, which is not something that I get as a salaried employee. So the opportunity is there for me to make more money and actually get paid for the hours that I work. So there's benefits and there's deficits to both situations. And I kind of really don't know if I want either one more than the other. So I guess it's kind of good because I'm not stressing about, the position. I know I have a job. I know I still get paid. And I know that my benefits won't change. But it's just kind of weird, It's just kind of weird. So yeah. The whole interview thing kind of really threw me off because, if you go into an interview, that you're applying for a position, and that with applying for that, there's a possibility of rejection. And I don't know that I'm prepared for rejection that I didn't look for. Again, it's been over 20 years since I've interviewed for a job, and it was just really strange. It was really strange. I did feel like I had to sell myself a little bit, which is not something that I enjoy doing. I'm not the type of person that will gush about all the things that I can do. I know I'm good at my job, and I know that I am very meticulous and I do a good job at what I do. But really, the only people that know that are the people that work with me. And so, yeah, selling myself during that meeting was a little bit strange for me. But I did it. I did tell them I'm very good at what I do. In those words. So, yeah. We'll see what happens when I get back from vacation. But it was such a strange thing. Like, within 5 minutes, like, somebody had reached out to me and said, hey, we're opening this department. Did so-and-so mention it to you? And I was like, yeah, they mentioned it, like, last week, but I've been waiting for a phone call. And all this while, I was thinking that it was about a new department that was opening, and not that I would be applying to a position for that department, just how that department was going to work. And so I'm like, yeah, but nobody called, you know, but I'm going to be on vacation. And so they're like, let me get in touch with the dude. And then within 2 minutes, he was like, are you available now? And I'm like, yeah, I'm available now. And it took a good, like, 10 minutes for me to figure out that it was a job interview. And I was like, nobody ever told me that this was a job interview. And then they were like, do you have any questions about the position? I'm like, I only knew that you guys were opening this department. Like, I don't know anything. And I think they were a bit confused about that, but somebody else was supposed to have told me, apparently, and that person didn't do a good job, I guess. So, yeah. I'm going to try not to think about it, but it was just very strange. And that's kind of how my work week ended. I am on vacation now, trying not to think about it. But yeah, my main focus now is going to be getting through that flight, having a good time, getting through another flight back, and hopefully everything will be okay and turn out fine in the end. So that pretty much wraps up my week. Let me know down in the comments below what you've been doing, what you've been up to, what have you been watching, reading, playing, or working on. I would really love to know. Again, I will be doing a vacation vlog sometime after I get back, so you can look forward to that. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you are here, if you could leave me some kind of celebratory emoji for the fact that my birthday is coming up this week. It is on the 19th, which is another reason why we're going on this trip. That would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.